Well, as you mentioned at the last town board workshop, I presented 3 quotes for professional surveying and design services relating to our upcoming TAP grant application for design and construction of sidewalks in West Webster. Each firm provided 2 separate quotes that included pricing for basic surveying as well as preliminary design. Now, unfortunately, 2 out of the 3 firms provided a combined total for both services on their preliminary design proposals. And as such, I erroneously reported to the board that the total cost for the recommended firm as being $36,000 for both basic surveying and preliminary design services. So upon contacting them the day after that board meeting to give them authorization to proceed, I was informed that the intent of their proposal was that it was the $36,000 for preliminary design plus the $15,000 for basic surveying services. So I basically misinterpreted their quote, unfortunately. So the recommended firm's total cost, as I mentioned, was intended to be $51,000, which still comes in as the lowest bid out of the 3 by approximately $20,000. So in the spirit of transparency, I wanted to bring this to the board's attention and ask that the original resolution from 2 weeks ago be rescinded and request that a new one is approved for the correct amount of $51,000. Now, since 2 weeks ago, we have learned of some additional information relating to the TAP grant timeline and the application portal, which at the time had not been opened up yet. Just earlier this week, we received notification that the portal is opening up. There's been a total of $97.4 million allocated for this round of the TAP grant, and the awards are going to be a minimum of $500,000 to a maximum of $7 million. So the timeline that they've outlined involves an application pre-review on January 15th. We would then receive some preliminary comments back in early February, and then the final application submission deadline is March 12th, 2026. So now that we have this information, I did reach out to Costitch Engineering earlier today to confirm that they are still able to meet the proposed deadline for the grant. And they assured me that if we get started right away and we keep on the projected schedule, that they would be able to have both the surveying and preliminary design completed and available for inclusion in our final application in early March. So with that, I will turn it over to the board for any questions or comments.
It makes sense. I mean, it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, but at least it makes sense, the disparity between the quotes. It's much less disparate now.
Yes, and in hindsight, I regret not confirming or clarifying that with Costitch. The proposal we did receive was a little misleading. It did have some things that led one to believe that it was all inclusive, but I can also see how it wasn't.
Josh, I just want to thank you for presenting it. We all have missteps, and certainly I'm very appreciative of you bringing this forward to us in this manner.
Thank you.
No, I met with Josh earlier in the week, and I completely understand how you could have missed that. So I appreciate your honesty and your forthrightness bringing it to us. And I have no problem, as I told you that day in your office, I have no problem with rescinding and then voting again on the increased amount at all.
Thank you.
Jenny, anything? Well, thank you for your time and effort and everything. I'm just hoping that, with everything right now in the government, that we will get the grant because we're not so sure, right?
Never are.
Okay.
That's the whole point of the grant process.
Well, I know.
But you gotta
But-
have some skin in the game to get the grants, and by doing this work, and it's the third try, so there's the furniture strippers is down, there's action across the street, there's movement in the area, there's a desire to bring this revitalization project to life, and while nothing is a guarantee, it certainly seems like we should have a favorable application, and we'll know in a few months if in fact that's true.
There actually is one guarantee, and that is we'll never get those that we don't apply for.
Touche.
And could you tell us how much would it would cost for us to, you know,
The project
implement the
itself?
process and everything? Yeah, just for the record.
Sure. Well, part of what the consultant will be tasked with after creating the preliminary design is coming up with preliminary cost estimates. When we applied 2 years ago, we put some conceptual cost estimates together that weren't really based in a high degree of accurate surveying, if you will. And at that time, I believe the project cost was around 5 million. 80% of which would be covered under the grant.
Okay, thank you.
Does anybody got any questions about these next two that spawn off of what?
No.
Jeff?
I do not. I would
Um,
move that we rescind
thanks.
resolution number 312 of 2025 associated with the town's TAP grant application.
Second.
Councilwoman Cataldi,
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright,
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty,
Aye.
Councilman Cahill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn.
Aye.
If you want to keep going.
All right, and this is following up on that. I would move to authorize the supervisor to sign an agreement for professional surveying and preliminary design services associated with the town's TAP grant application with Costage Engineering for a total not to exceed $51,000.
Second.
Councilwoman Cataldi,
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright,
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty,
Aye.
Councilman Cahill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn.
Aye.
And I got to apologize when Josh was presenting it and Councilwoman Wynn, you had some concerns, valid concerns about, how much is this going to cost, not the engineering, but the project. And Josh gave what it was a couple years ago. The one thing that was brought up 2 weeks ago was that the the survey component of this, we need that anyway. Even if we didn't apply for TAP, because that was a state road, and now it's a town road, and we have zero. We don't understand what we got there. We're not sure where the right of ways are. We have no survey work. So the town really has to get survey work there anyway for us to do anything on that road. Pat Stevens in the highway department has been saying it to the GIS people and whatever, that do you realize we don't have anything on Ridge Road? And that was brought up 2 weeks ago.
It's just for the record, that's all.
No, it's
I
good.
don't know.
And I mean, so I just wanted to throw that in